Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal with the latest edition of the Mr. Informal Podcast. We are on the 56th edition of the Mr. Informal Podcast. I hope you are doing well today. And summer is coming to a close, almost coming to a close. Sad to see because summer is my favorite season of all seasons of all year. And sad to say, because I do like the sunlight, long days and long nights, I guess you can say. No, long days and warm nights. That's more like it. So, let's talk about the 56th edition of the Mr. Informal Podcast. This is Mr. Informal. Don't forget to check out my Instagram at Mr. Informal, MISTERINFORMAL. So, we got 4 topics. Number 1, Netflix adding in between ads. That doesn't sound good. Number 2, Americans are becoming hoarders due to online shopping. That's going to be interesting. Number 3, social media such as Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter are all becoming stagnant, no major growth, and I wonder why. Number 4, waiting list on luxury items or expensive items, however you want to call it. And so those are the 4 topics for the Mr. Informal Podcast. Let's go ahead and start right now. So, in the recent announcement of Netflix, they were going to add in between ads, meaning let's say a show or movie is over in between and then you're binge watching, obviously because Netflix continues to the next flick or the next movie or the next show. So in between those times there's going to be ads, and a lot of people from what I read are not happy about that. And Hulu has done this before, also Amazon has done this before. So if you are paying a monthly subscription, why is Netflix adding in between ads? So Netflix is saying they are adding in between ads so they could get more exposure to the shows that they have in Netflix. Not only that, they could have some leverage against studios who are raising up prices, stating that people are watching more shows and so and so. But it's not going to be commercials, it's just going to be shows that they think should be good for you. But in a counter argument by that is that why should people have to deal with ads knowing that they are already paying it monthly? Another solution that some people have come up with, okay, if you want exposure to the shows that are not being watched, why don't you put it in the front page or put it somewhere where people think it's so obvious that people might be interested in watching it? And I would agree to that. So what is the repercussion of having in between ads? Well, for one, it's annoying. Number 2, it doesn't make the monthly payment you are paying a value or a worth, because now you're going through ads. So what's the point of subscribing for Netflix if you can just go to Hulu, which has better shows and obviously better movies? Not only that, Netflix is raising up prices to pay for their own shows or their originals. And a second thing is the people who have been used to Netflix, never seen ads, are used to not seeing ads at all. So by doing this, it suddenly is strange. But then again, you realize that, wait a minute, I didn't pay for this. I do not want ads. Now Netflix is saying that it could be experimental. They were discussing with a recent survey. I doubt that. I don't think they even did a survey at all. So I don't understand why they want in between ads of shows that they have in Netflix. What's the next thing? Actual ads of non-related items or non-related commercials that you are watching in Netflix? No, because if you accept this could lead to Netflix pushing actual commercials, which to the point where Netflix actually becomes a cable company. So there's no point of it. So Do I want ads in Netflix? No, no, no. Because if I am paying for something and it originally had no ads, then it should be that way. It must be that way. And I don't want Netflix telling me that, oh, we're increasing because we're paying more for originals. Well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. That's the money that you should be coughing up, not me. It should not come from me. And I understand where they're coming from. We have to pay studios. Okay, if you want to pay for studios, okay, why don't you lessen the movies and shows that are not worth the value and actually put that money to the actual shows that people are watching? Netflix do have their own algorithms. They do have their own data analysis. They should do that. Well, actually, that should be the first step. Is that analyze their data, analyze their user data, and see what goes through, what kind of shows people are watching. People want to watch good movies and shows. Apparently, a lot of these companies don't seem to understand that. How hard can it be to watch a show without having a commercial? It's not. So I recently saw this article from The Atlantic. So the article is in their technology section. It says, the title is, "We are all accumulating mountains of things. How online shopping and cheap prices are turning Americans into hoarders." That is quite interesting. So, sites like Amazon have made it especially easy to shop. In 1999, the Seattle retail patented one-click buying process, which allows customers to purchase something without entering their shipping address or credit card info. So, a lot of impulse buy, a lot of drunk buys, a lot of sleepy buys here. I mean, people don't seem to understand that people are buying and then suddenly forgetting about the orders that they bought online. Not only that, there's a perfectly good example that the article presented. The article said that it's been easier to buy things online. It's so easy that Ryan Casada sometimes does it in his sleep. Casada, a 24-year-old singer-songwriter, actor from Los Angeles, recently got a notification from Amazon that a package has been shipped to his apartment, but he didn't remember buying anything. When he logged on into his account and saw a fanny pack and some socks were on the way, he remembered a few nights back he had awoken in the middle of the night to browse and apparently shop on Amazon. Wow. Absolutely good example there. So with the cheap prices and also the convenience, we Americans are suddenly become hoarders. So in 2017, Americans spent $240 billion, twice as much as they spent in 2002, on goods like jewelry, watches, books, luggage, and telephones and related communication equipment. Over the time, the population grew just 13%. Americans spent on average $971 on clothes last year. Absolutely amazing stats right there. But at the same time, there is a counter argument about this, is that people are donating, and the internet has also made it easier to recycle some of the stuff that Americans have. So there is that counter argument. Not only that, the article states that online consignment shops like ThredUp, Poshmark help people buy and sell their clothes from their closets. So it is a recycling thing. You buy it, then you donate it, or you can resell it. Somebody else get it. So it's almost like a recycle thing, which is a good thing. But what is not a good thing is, as you can tell, that the article presented, is that many of people are drunk buying, whether it be sleep buying, whether it be impulse buying. They are becoming hoarders because of the cheap prices. People are buying useless stuff, such as an onion chopper, which I don't understand. A garlic chopper. Really? You really need a garlic chopper? Why not just buy a knife and just chop it up that way? But people don't have the skills nowadays. So, what do I really think of this? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there has been times where I was resistant to it. I was trying to resist the impulse buy. But when I do want to buy things as a necessity, if I really need it, then yeah, I would need it. And even though I'm not gonna need it now, I'll need it in the future, and I do end up using it in the future. But it does beg the question, essentially, do you really need all those things? And then obviously the answer is no. But with the cheap prices, it makes you think that, wow, it's so cheap, I'll just get it, because you never know. That's the point. That's the thought process, and that is why I think this article holds true, because with that kind of thought process, Americans will buy it. Not only that, they'll just have it laying around somewhere and not even use it in the first month. I mean, they'll probably use it once or twice a year, but that's about it. And with that, I mean, not only that, the population is growing. So there's going to even be more and more. I mean, I guess you could say that we should all buy Amazon stock. But it's all come down to discipline. Because when you are disciplined enough not to have all these things, or you kind of realize that you don't need all these things, then you don't need Amazon. You don't need to go online shopping every day. Not only that, with the peace of mind, you'll have less stuff to declutter or to even clean. As for the third topic of today, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter are all stagnant, no major growths on the foreseeable future. So why is that? Well, I don't really know the answer. Maybe it's because the population of Earth have already downloaded and everybody have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all social media. Or maybe it's just the fact that there's really nothing that these companies are bringing out to the table or presenting to the consumers as to what kind of features that the social media have. I mean, the only thing that I could think of that in the recent months that was put out was Instagram TV, but that's about it. But there's no major rise in Instagram TV as of right now. Maybe in the future, I do see an Instagram TV becoming a YouTube competitor, but as of right now, it's not there yet. So, as we all know, Snapchat, with their Snapchat goggles, there's really nothing much going on. Not only that, I haven't used Snapchat in a long time. So I don't see Snapchat becoming bigger and bigger. Facebook, with the recent scandal of that leaked data, especially that with that Cambridge scandal, I don't see them making a big splash in tech right now. They're doing damage control, and Mark Zuckerberg is in trouble. Obviously, he's still making money, but at the same time, there's a lot of companies that are pulling out of Facebook one by one. I mean, it's not going to disappear for the general consumer, but if you are a consumer who is very conscious, then yeah, I can see you pulling out. But at the same time, you know, some of your family and friends are still there and they don't care about the scandal, but I do care. That's why I keep myself on the low. Not much information on my Facebook. Same with Instagram. Like I said, Instagram major update was Instagram TV, but Twitter, I mean, the last thing that Twitter did was probably increase characters, but that's about it. But there's really nothing much going on in the social media tech, especially as in Silicon Valley. Maybe we reached the plateau, maybe we reached the peak already, but for some reason nothing's been going on in the social media platforms other than commercials, ads, scandals, he say, she say type of thing. That's it. Basically a lot of toxic nonsense. Now don't get me wrong, there's still gems out there for social media, such as networking, connecting, talking to people, and also create insights. You know, if you're a fan of your artists, music, celebrities, whatever, then yeah, you are well connected. And I've seen reports that there's no major growth due to nothing's being presented out there that's new, or there's no usable features that consumers can take advantage of. I mean, the only thing I can think of is probably Facebook Messenger, but then again, that's still part of Facebook. So I mean, there's really nothing much going on. And I know a lot of the many brands out there like to do their keynotes, slides, presentations, or even provide insights to the company by using these social medias. But at the same time, I mean, that's nothing new. A lot of social media can easily do that. Many people thought that Facebook could create a store, but nothing's going on with Facebook shopping. Amazon is still in the lead. And it's quite interesting that there was a time when people were talking about what was the next social media hit, what was the next online networking hit. I mean, who's gonna be the next big thing? And 2018, there hasn't been a big thing that I can think of. If Instagram TV would have been suddenly became a competitor as YouTube, that would be the next big thing. But as of right now, the social media platform is just stagnant. And so let's talk about the last topic for today. And I brought this up because every time I talk to people talking about luxury items, luxury goods, premium goods, the luxury brands, whatever you want to call it, whether it be from Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, whether it be Hermes, obviously Rolex, Tiffany & Co., they all have waiting lists. And why is that? Why is it that we need a waiting list? Why can't it just be a first come, first serve? Well, for one thing's obvious. These brands are not making a lot. These brands are not meeting the demands of the consumer. Number two, if they cannot meet the demands of the consumer, obviously they did not predict, or they would have never expected that the demand was so high. Number three, they have a cult following, so they think that their followers would always buy from them, but they don't understand that there's another potential profit, that there's another consumer that could be interested in the same item, and so they did not expect those customers to like it. I mean, you could put that under number two. And for these brands to put a waiting list, I mean, I always try to think, why can't you just make enough quantity based on a similar item, and why don't you estimate and guess from that? This way you shouldn't have to fall under the unexpected demands or unexpected expectations of the consumers. And a lot of the brands are just, they just like have people waiting for them, so that way when they make the items or the quantity, it's in stores, it's already sold out. Not only that, they like to have the exclusivity, that name, that brand. They love that. But for me, I don't love that, because as a consumer, I should not have to wait. Why can't I just go to the store? If it's there, I buy it. If it's not there, then don't put me on a waiting list. Should be first come, first serve. And if you don't happen to be there at the right moment, at the right time, then you lose. Not only that, luxury items are pretty expensive, but there are a lot of rich people out there. And I do think that it's unfair for consumers. Not only that, if you have a sales associate, or if you do have connection, that person suddenly gets a VIP access, or you can say a preferred access, but that should be taken out. I prefer first come, first serve. If you're not there at the store, and if you want that store, there should be no holding. You should be there. That's it. And I wish more and more companies would do that. Not only that, you do not put it on hold. If you are not there, you lose. No matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter how much connection you have with the representative in the company. And it's not just in fashion, obviously. It's also in watches, in jewelry, even in shoes, even in toys. I mean, even in clothes, even in sneakers. I mean, all across different types of sectors of the industry that this happens. Sometimes they even have raffle, which is, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. But but there is a good thing about this, is that Louis Vuitton is thinking about just making it first come first serve, no more waiting list, which is, I hope, something that could be contagious and spread to other brands in other sectors of the globe, I guess you can say. And hopefully when I do come in, it's just there. No more, somebody telling me, oh, it's on hold by another customer. No. When it's there, I should be able to purchase it. And so that wraps up the 56th edition of the Mr. Informal Podcast. I hope you enjoy listening to me, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. And I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to add me on Instagram. That's MisterInformal. That's Mr. Informal. Also, make sure to check out my website. That's MrInformal.com. And so, if you have any comments, let me know. I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.